how do people adapt? You know, what do they need to do to prepare mentally for this?
Yeah, well, I think people are still really scared of it. A lot of people, right? I think it's interesting because we're at a point where there's a window of opportunity for individuals. So if they're doing what you're doing and leaning into it and going, okay, well, actually, these tools are going to make us more effective, and actually, I can do this now more effectively than everybody else can. And because 90% of people are avoiding it, or maybe it's 80%, or maybe it's less than that now, then that gives you an advantage. But that window of advantage is going to be pretty small. I think, you know, everybody has gone through a bit of a curve of resistance through to some level of acceptance, right? And some people are just further ahead than others, but people will get there. So it's only an advantage for a certain period of time. So I think the first thing is to, if you're afraid of it, instead of saying no, just start saying maybe. You don't have to say yes yet, but just go and see what you can do. It's stuff like, you know, I noticed Photoshop recently now has this generative expand thing. So you can have a picture that you've genuinely taken, but is a close-up, and you want that to be in a bigger environment, and then you can just hit a button and it will expand the picture. That sort of stuff is just enhancing your creativity, right? People who are using that will be able to offer much better products to their clients because they can give them so many different varieties. I think the days are gone now, right, where you sort of come back from a shoot and it's like, oh man, I didn't get that shot or that variation of that shot. So first of all, there's a window of opportunity. It's closing fast. So if you don't want to be catching up, you sort of should get ahead. And these tools are pretty easy to learn. Some of them are more complex than others. But if you go to ChatGPT or Claude or DeepSeek or whatever your LLM of choice is and go, hi, I'm new to this. This is what I do. Teach me how to use you in a way that's going to benefit my business or this thing I'm doing, then it'll take you through step by step. And then you can say, which tools should I be using? And it'll take you through those. And like, this is the great thing about this technology is that you don't actually have to have a high level of proficiency to get good at it. You just have to start using it. So I think just start using it and see what can be done. I think there's always, especially in creative work, like photography or music or art or things like that, I think there's always going to be room for the human element. I heard about an artist recently who, I forget his name, but he had produced 50 pieces over, I think he was an abstract artist, and he produced these 50 pieces of a series he was putting together. And he'd included a certificate in those pieces that basically said this generative AI has not been used in the production of this. I painted this myself. That is where the value is, especially if you're an abstract artist. You're probably closer to being replaced than if you're a sort of still, if you paint still lives or things like that. So yeah, I think start using it. I think then it's easy to say, but I think it's important to sort of accept a level of uncertainty around where this is going, because, you know, for example, I've been working on a company recently. I've been using AI to build an app. If you'd said to me a year ago that I would be able to actually build an app without learning how to code, then I would have thought that was ridiculous. And it's not quite ready yet, and so maybe it is still ridiculous. Who knows? But yeah, if there's things that you want to do that you haven't done yet in your business or in your work or in your day-to-day life, it's worth going and seeing if you could use technology and AI in particular to help accelerate some of those things.